Recently, a very interesting game landed on my desk, a brand new extraction shooter called HAWKED. Now, another extraction shooter, who cares? I'm not the type to get caught up in a fad of a new game. Pal Worlds came out a few weeks ago and I literally couldn't have cared less. But this one is different. Look at the numbers. HAWKED's journey is just beginning. And there's something special about this game. It rings reminiscent of a certain game changer from 2017. Fortnite. I promise I'm not being paid to say this, just let me explain. What makes HAWKED different from other extraction shooters is that it's, well, different. You're dropped onto a beautifully stylized tropical island, an open world filled with monsters to fight, stuff to interact with, and artifacts to collect. The graphics are stunning. This isn't yet another grey, realistic shooter. This is a stylized, cel-shaded environment that is so vibrant and colourful. It's hard to not draw comparisons to Fortnite, because the unique style is part of what set Fortnite apart from other battle royales, and the similar aesthetic will go a long way for HAWKED. In HAWKED, you run around and complete small missions to extract relics that you will use later to unlock a big vault. Some have puzzles that take me way too long to understand. Some have big beefy bosses, and these guys are no joke. Seriously, I was stressed fighting this guy. There are also some PvP elements. While it isn't directly focused on player versus player action like, say, a battle royale, you can encounter other players and fight them. Some of them aren't great, but it's a lot of fun when you find an evenly matched player and just battle it out. Now, if these players get the final artifact and leave before you, you lose, so it does turn the game into essentially a big race. In my experience, it wasn't too hard to come out first if you know what you're doing. There is a huge variety of weapons and items. The weapons follow a rarity system like most multiplayer titles, and some of the higher tier stuff is great, like this heavy-hitting sniper rifle I found, or even this crazy plasma rifle. But even the more common weapons will do you just fine for the most part. The other items are mostly heals, grenades, and attribute changes, but they are definitely essential in parts, especially when dealing with bosses. There are also special character abilities you can unlock like flares and recons. I didn't use these much during my first games playing, but they definitely have their use. The controls are actually really smooth. If you're playing on keyboard and mouse like me, there's probably a couple of keybinds I'd recommend changing, like crouching is bound to C for some reason, but aside that, the character is just really fun to move around with. You even have a grappling hook to reach certain areas with, and the ability to climb some walls. It's just an absolute blast to run around and do stuff, and I didn't have to tweak my sensitivity at all. The same goes for using the weapons. The recoil is a little high on some of them, but they're really fun to use, and it didn't take me long to get good with them at all. I'm not the greatest at shooter games, I'll be the first to admit. I can do sufficiently well in Fortnite, and that's about it. But with HAWKED, it just felt so intuitive and easy to pick up and play. When you first load up the game, you are presented with the lore. There's a lot of interesting stuff that I'm sure will be uncovered in the future, from ancient civilizations to mysterious artifacts and a big scary corporation that you work for. I can definitely see future updates following the storyline with new discoveries, just like a certain other game I know. Then there's a custom character creator. This is really cool because unlike other games, you don't buy characters, you create your own, and then buy more customization options for them. Naturally, with all the options in the world, I very creatively just made myself if I was 32 years old. You're then introduced to, oh my god, and dropped into a tutorial. The tutorial is really great for getting you introduced to the flow of the game, and I pretty quickly learned all the basics. This game is genuinely really beginner friendly without being overbearing, and I think that will ultimately aid in its success. After beating the tutorial, you arrive in the main hub, with various characters to speak to, and a few other players to interact with and emote with. Well, if I knew what the emote key was, that is. This hub is home to some extra modes like a target practice training room with all the weapons, which will be great for those who maybe struggle a little more with aiming and firing weapons. This is a free game in the 2020s, so naturally there is not only an item shop, but a battle pass too, here known as the Renegade Pass. The shop is cool, but the virtual currency is honestly kinda pricey. It would cost some $30 just to buy the Renegade Pass, compared to other games like Fortnite where it's less than $10. And there's even a subscription service, which for a brand new game, it just It seems a little much. However, this game is a pink monkey, so it's automatically awesome. There are two main modes, Lone Hunter and Treasure Hunt. Lone Hunter is a solo mode and it can be quite difficult. I had a blast just exploring and finding stuff out in the wild, and most importantly, gambling. After getting my ass handed to me by a boss because I somehow got stuck, I actually did get the artifact on my first mission. But since this is an extraction game, I still had to get back out, and well, I was killed by some nerd hiding in the corner. Bruh. Treasure Hunt is basically Lone Hunter but with a full squad, and it's easily my favourite mode of the two. With the right players, it's such good fun to progress through the world together, and the more difficult challenges are far more manageable. I definitely think this is a co-op focused game, and I highly recommend the Treasure Hunt, but Lone Hunter can definitely be a good time too. Hey, we won. Just make sure it's the right players. I mean, come on man, just hit the revive button. A good game can only take you so far, but it's clear to me that the developers have a vision for HAWKED. Just looking at the website, it's all nicely stylized, and honestly, everything about it just gives me the same vibes as Fortnite. A love and dedication to forming a distinct identity with clean presentation like that will really help take this game to new heights. The game has only just released, and yet even in the beta, it had a ton of content. HAWKED has its own form of seasons, known as issues, in keeping with the comic style present throughout the UI and promo. Each issue brings a new Renegade Pass with tons of cosmetics. There are also regular seasonal events that add more cosmetics and additional quest lines to complete, like Holiday Heist and Lunar Festival. There are even Twitch drops. The developers are doing such a great job of keeping the game fresh, and if they keep this up with more updates and maybe add more weapons, items and map expansions in the future, I could really see HAWKED becoming a big deal. I've compared HAWKED to Fortnite a lot, and I mean that in the best way possible. As someone with a deep understanding of Fortnite and what made it work, HAWKED is the first time I've seen so many similarities in a game to Fortnite while still having its complete own identity. HAWKED doesn't feel like Fortnite. It feels like a Fortnite in a sea of similar games. A fresh take on an old genre that could really breathe new life into it, and I really hope it does. HAWKED is an absolute blast to play. I wouldn't be sitting here talking about it if it wasn't, and I really hope this becomes a big deal as it evolves and updates, because I can genuinely see this becoming one of my favourite live service games, and I'm excited to see where it goes. As of writing the script for this video, HAWKED literally came out yesterday, so who knows what the future holds. But if the devs at My Games play their cards right, listen to their growing community, and continue to pump out awesome content, HAWKED could really be the next Fortnite. I still bought that Renegade Pass, by the way. I mean, come on. What do you think I am? I'm a consumerist, man.